Welcome, Alexander Technique 36 and Kalle Lundahl. Here you are, and yet another episode of our tryout for the Alexander Technique. And 35 we tested the monkey, and we saw he regained his hip bend. In the beginning he bent at the waist, so the back became a bit crumbled, but in the end a little bit monkey made him regain the fantastic hip joint, which is actually a miraculous thing. The hip joint makes all movement much easier, even walking, which we should try. Walking itself without the hip joint is something that in the end ruins the hip joint. But using the hip joint when walking like this instead, we bring a much smoother walk. It's almost like flying on a cloud, and you gain greater balance as well. You are balancing up the system. Let's see if you can put Kalle into the monkey position once more, and we will also see that my bet is he still has some of the monkey he did. So he did monkey for 5 minutes, and it will remain for at least a couple of hours. But I imagine there is still some left here. The easiest to check it is the balance of the head, and he's nicely balanced. This is thanks to the monkey that we did previously. Think of a smile behind your eyes. You see the level of the eyes goes directly here, which is the bottom here of the head. So nicely balanced. So it's still here to some degree. Bend your knees a bit. And there you go. Yes, you are bending at the hip, nowhere else. And you can let your head follow like this. So yes, exactly. Now you are bending at the hip, and you can have this nice direction. Yeah, it's much better. Look, even the shoulder blade we'll be able to bring in here. This is the upward position if you do Surya Namaskar or something similar. And can you feel how the shoulder is coming in now?
Yes.
So what you need to do is, what you could do is direct, think that the fingers are this long. So when I follow you here, you elongate. You can have a look here. You elongate your fingers. You feel how smooth the movement is?
Yes.
I don't even have to do anything. So you can imagine if you do all the movements with that directionality, the whole exercise becomes so soft and flowing and easy. And this will also help build your postural muscles. Because the more you train this, the monkey for instance, the more your postural muscles will be activated. And they mean that you can stand and sit without any effort at all. You will become effortless. So lengthen your back as well. Yes, exactly. Very good. Say no to conditioned habits, say yes to free will. Maybe determinism is something we learn in childhood. But experiencing is believing, I'd say. Perfect. Can you feel it's very down the hip? Much further down than one believes. And you can keep the head in the same direction as the back, like this. So the head follows the back nicely. So if you go down, it follows and shows the way, almost like pointing. So think of an extension also of your head, maybe. And touching your head lightly and this distance above your head. So it's a bit like you are a bit taller than you are, about 3-4 centimeters. Fingers way longer, yeah. You're not tensing now. I think this is regularly the first time with the left hand. You're not tensing, you're just directing. There's no tension in your hand. Fantastic, Kalle. There is absolute development. I can put it down without you grasping. You do exactly what you want yourself now. That's very good. I'm very happy to see this progress. You go up, you think up. I don't even have to touch your head. You go up, yeah. Very, very, very good. Fantastic. Sometimes you don't feel the change yourself, but you are moving more easily now. You're more easy at heart and you smile more often. Very big difference. Seriousness is the only trait of the devil, said by Iain McGilchrist. There are no other traits. The devil will never smile.
So now the moon greeting.
Moon greeting.
Chandra Namaskar.
Let's greet the moon.
So the mountain position.
Mololave. Direction. And also, if it makes any sense, think more space between your shoulder blades. So you sort of widen and widen in your mind as well to take in contradictions. You will find them very helpful to opening up the body. I have this firm belief that the lack of coordination you see at the universities today, which is new, is all caused by this narrowing of thinking. A sort of defect thinking. Very good. Keep open like that. Continue the good work. Remember klockvisaren, whatever that is in English. expand, lengthen in the direction of the head. So elongate your head. Elongate, all these English words. They're so confusing. So your fingers are becoming longer and longer, and also your head going forward. So also in this difficult position, keep the freedom, no worries. The beach in Oahu, loads of fun, not seriousness. No more of that exaggerated over seriousness of Bible interpretation. It's too serious. But no contradictions are allowed. The essence of the human soul, humor. Direct like a clock, up goes the clock, bit longer, continue up here. Very good, very good. It's a different way of moving about altogether. And using the hand will also, that's the same with the head. So what you do with the hand is also applicable to the head. It's a sort of cheating model for understanding what is direction out of the head. It's not as weird as it sounds like. It's quite harmless. A whole pile of fine. Oh, you elongate there, very good. Think about something funny and yeah, it's very good. This is directionality. You know it now. Can you feel that you direct your hand?
Yes.
So the difference is now I stretch, overly stretch. Now I think the direction. So there's a subtle difference, and that difference cannot be understood at the beginning. You learn it. It becomes stronger and stronger, and when I move this way, it's much easier. And the same also applies to the head. If you pause there for a second. So yes, you can have that elongation also of the head, like a couple of 3-4 centimeters above the head. Yeah, very good. So the original, if the expression is pardoned here, elongation could be said the head with a little ladybug going up, and that brings the back, the column, and that also brings the hands. So everything comes together. You sort of expand into space. And the fractal nature of space does help. The whole universe is fractal. So to think that there is no distance at the same time that there are enormous distances is very helpful.
Namaskar.
You looked energized. Do you have more energy now?
Yes.
Yeah, that's not half bad since it's December. See if we can. Very good. So you are more balanced now, that gives you more energy, and you will be able to think more freely as well. Not fixating in the same way. And if you just see if we can, yeah, like this, yeah. Go down, and when you go down, you can bring your head with you. So it doesn't have to be, yeah, exactly that way. And you lengthen like this, and that means like an accordion. That's the accordion, yeah. So this, and you can also go up. Now the whole back is coming up. The first thing we did today, you were actually bending at the waist, and you don't do that anymore. The only thing maybe you can think of until tomorrow is that if you could bring the head a bit more like this, remember this position. That means that the head is a bit more like this and less this. So it follows the back. Of course you can look up if you want to, there's something interesting over there. Oh, look at that, you can hang your clothes. But in the actual movement, it will be easier as a training thing, and it's also correct with the yogic movements. Very good. Now you found the hip joint. And I said that's the key to everything, and I can even get you, yes. And try to remember, I'm going to put you in this. There you feel you have greater ease there?
Yes.
So a bit more like that would be great when you do the Surya and the Chandra. Very good. Now you're pointing. Very good. You're pointing upwards. So I caught you pointing with your head, Kalle. Now you're learning that as well. So I thought it was best to start with the hands, and now you seem to get it with your head as well. And what you will do in the end, when I tell you that you're pointing with your head, you will associate that feeling. So next time, maybe you will be more able to do it yourself. That's the whole idea of our little experimentations here. Look at that, you go up by pointing, point, yeah. Very good. Wasn't that smooth?
Yes.
So this is much smoother, and the hands are relaxed, not over-relaxed, they can be tensed, but they have now a direction. And even if you go backwards, the direction can be forward. One of the contradictions of Alexander technique. There's a whole pile of them, and I'm starting to think maybe also Alexander technique needs to address these default things. Because if you think that, for instance, space is limited or infinite, which is actually the same thing, I think you will sort of crawl together like this. But if you think it's spiraling out, that your hand can follow the space itself by spiraling, which is directionality, that would be so much easier. Then we're not working against our concepts or ideas. You see, the concepts come together with a better way of moving about. And I think that is also one of the reasons when I were in India, I saw people move about very smoothly, without training or anything. This looks very good. I think we end there where we are at top, but this is the first time you voluntarily point with your head. You started with your fingers, I think last week already, like elongating them, thinking they are end here. But now it was also with the head. And if we're going to repeat that a couple of times, you can do it by yourself. Maybe it takes 10 times, 20 times, but it will be easier for every time. It is like learning a new language. You don't know any words, there are no explanations. You can only start talking it. Thank you, Kalle. Great.